Hello and welcome. I wanted to do a quick video today about Mr. Thrive and Survive and also a character called Perth, another YouTube flat earther. I was watching Soundly's live stream earlier today, and he was going through a video by Mr. Thrive and Survive and explaining just how much he doesn't understand photography and just trying to defend himself. Mr. Thrive and Survive essentially claiming that Soundly's videos and photographs are frauds. They're deliberately doctored to show the curvature effect that he has so beautifully demonstrated. Now, this is utterly unreasonable. Soundly makes his photographs and videos available when people ask for them. It's fairly easy to check whether they've been tampered with in any way. He makes it clear how they were obtained and what camera equipment he used in order to take them. He's done loads of work and been scrupulously honest. He's live streamed things. He's done time lapses so people can see, what he's doing. He's been out with the surveyor, Jesse Kozlowski. He's done loads of stuff and always utterly honest about it. So I was a bit annoyed seeing that Mr. Thrive and Survive had chosen to challenge that. But one particular point in the video, which Soundly wasn't too sure exactly what the point was being made and hadn't really checked out the claims, because Mr. Thrive and Survive was pointing towards somebody else's video, Perth's video, and it bugged me, and so I thought I'd look into it. So Perth's video, this is from Mr. Thrive and Survive's video, but it's showing a sequence from Perth's video. And it relates to a water tower, which is visible in the background on the causeway photographs. So I thought I'd have a little look at Perth's video. And let's find a shot from later on. Okay. And the first thing to note is he's called it Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. And he's, again, questioning Soundly's honesty, which is utterly unreasonable without evidence. Now, he may think he has evidence here, but actually he's the one being utterly deceptive. His claim is that the water tower that we can see here, and he has cut out a portion of the water tower from another photograph here. This water tower should not be visible here on a globe Earth. It should in fact be down here. And he claims that this is proof that Soundly has in some way manipulated the bridge or the causeway in order to make it curve downwards. Leaving aside how impossible or extraordinarily difficult it would be to manipulate the bridge downwards in a video, let's look at this particular claim about this water tower. So pretty much everything hinges on the height of the water tower. It also hinges a little bit on the height of the observer. But it's the height of the water tower that Perth has, well, I think he must have deliberately misled everybody. What he's done is gone to Google Earth and gone to a street view position where you can see the water tower. And he's looked at this fence here and decided, I'm not quite sure how, that it's 1.8 meters high. But 1.8 meters seems to be reasonable. I imagine that these trees are cut so that people can walk underneath them without getting branches in their face. So if the trees are cut at about 2 meters, that would make these fence posts here about 2 meters. and that would make 1.8 meters a reasonable height for the wooden fence. And what he's done is he's measured this point here, and then I said, well, that's 1.8 meters, so another 1.8 meters and another 1.8 meters up to the height of the tower, at the central point of the water tank, the sort of roughly spherical, it's not really spherical, water tank up here. Now, this would be valid if this fence was indeed the same distance away from the camera as the water tower. But as we shall see, it isn't. And we shall also see that he must have known it wasn't because of how he obtained this particular picture. So let's just note the figures. He's claiming the tower is 21.6 meters high, the ground is 6 meters above sea level, and so we have a total height to the center of here of 27.6 meters. Now let's look on Google Earth. So here is the water tower, and the position from which he took his picture is here. The fence that he has used ends here next to this small building. If we go back to his image, we can see the small building here and the fence coming along and stopping at the small building. Oops, wrong thing to click on for the moment. So the Google camera was here in the road, shooting the side view of the street, and the end of the fence is about half the distance to the tower. Let's just confirm that we really are talking about the same location. I'll need to walk back a little bit down the street. That's my wife asking me to bring pizza home, which I shall do once I finish this. So we can clearly see that it's the same shot that he had, and the fence stops here. Is there any way that he can have clicked in on that without realizing that the fence stopped well before the tower? I don't think so. So the fence, if the fence continued back to this point, then calculating the height on the basis of multiple fence heights would be valid. But it's not valid because the fence is only halfway back. We need to take account of that in some way. Excuse me sniffing, I have a cold. So are there any other clues that the water tower might be a bit taller than he says? Well, yes, of course there are. So if we go down to this point on the street, get a different view. I'll just move a little bit further along the road. We can see from here, these trees are the same distance from the camera as the tower. And the tower is clearly much taller than these trees. Now, these are mature pine trees. And mature pine trees in Louisiana, I think there's 4 species, and they grow to some to well over 100 feet, and most of them sort of 80 to 100 feet mature height. So it would be reasonable to think that this tall tree here, this mature tree, was about 100 feet above the ground. That's 30 meters. Now remember, Perth was claiming that the tower up here was only 26 or 27 meters. And I think we can reasonably assert that 30 meters is this point. But that's not conclusive, and perhaps we need some more evidence. Well, I found a picture of the tower in construction. And so it's been built, but it hasn't had its final finishing and coat of paint. And at the bottom here, we can clearly see a doorway in the base of this conical part of the tower support. This doorway will be around 2 meters high, I would guess. Most doorways are around about 2 meters high. This utility vehicle here is lower than the top of the door, which is in pretty good agreement. I imagine that these vehicles are around 2 meters, perhaps a little less from ground to the top of the roof. I don't know this particular vehicle. I don't know whether I would be able to peer over the top of the roof, or it would be taller than me. But it certainly is in keeping with this being 2 meters. That would make the total height of this block about 3 meters. And each of the blocks appears to be similar height. So if this is 3 meters, then we have another 3 meters. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to this point. Now they start to angle sharply outwards. So I'll count the next 2 as being 1, 14, and the next 2 as being 1, 15, and one more, which is almost vertical, 16. So I reckon we're about 16 times 3 meters to this point here. Once again, we can see the mature pine trees nearby, and they're certainly considerably shorter than the tower, although the angle is slightly deceptive. Well, 16 meters is over 50 feet. Sorry, 16 times 3 meters, sorry, pardon me, is 48 meters, which is well over 150 feet. So this estimate of the height of this tower is completely wrong. This is not 27 meters, 28 meters, 27.5 meters above sea level. It is over 50 meters above sea level. Now, he later goes to the metabunk calculator and claims almost correctly, I have a 1 kilometer further distance for the camera to the tower, and the viewer height can be disputed as well. It may be more than 40 meters, but even if it is 40 meters and 41.6 kilometers, we have 28.4 meters hidden, or including refraction, 20 meters hidden. So when we go to the image of the tower, he is claiming that the tower should be down here, that the 20 meters or so of the tower should be below sea level. Now, the sea level in the image is this edge of the lake, and I'm not quite sure how it is sea level, but it's in the distance, so not quite sure how valid that is. But regardless of that, what the correct figure for the height of the tower predicts is that 28 meters or 20 meters should be hidden. which leaves 22 to 30 meters that should be extended up above the horizon. Now, when he places this over the top of the circle in the image, it appears to be about the same size. And so his claim is that it's, we're not seeing. Well, his claim is that this is more fitting with a flat Earth. But it isn't. The tower extends considerably beyond this distance and has a conical shape at the bottom, as we can see from this image here. So the base of the tower is like this. And of course that won't be visible because it's hidden behind the trees and behind the causeway. But we expect around 20 meters to be below sea level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 21 meters to there. So this much would be below sea level, and part of the rest of it would be hidden by the causeway and the trees, leaving all of the ball visible above the causeway. Guess what? It's exactly what Soundly observed. So once again, far from a demonstration that Soundly has done something fraudulent, and far from the claim that this evidence supports a flat Earth, it once again is shown to support globe Earth and mimic pretty much exactly what we would expect to see if the Earth was a sphere. Now, we know the Earth is not a perfect sphere, and we know that it's not even a regular spheroid. So any slight, and we know that there is such a thing as atmospheric refraction. So any tiny discrepancies that there might be can be accounted for by those three factors. But this is pretty much perfectly what the prediction is if you use the correct height for the tower. So I think that Fepe Perth and Mr. Thrive and Survive, or Lie and Connive, as some people refer to him, owe Soundly an apology. I'd further add, as somebody who has also been accused of lying when they haven't lied about flat Earth and globe Earth, I would also like to point out that flat earthers are repeatedly caught being dishonest about the evidence they present. And to date, no one has come up with a single piece of evidence that Soundly has been in any way deceptive about anything that he has published on this subject. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon.